Oh, this broadcast was deleted on Facebook.
Is that? Oh, because it.
We didn't go live within 10 minutes of the scheduled start time.
Oh. Is it not live now? There's a little counter that says live.
It's
hey,
live
for
Hi guys. Hi everyone. Looks like we're streaming on Twitch as well as YouTube, but not the FB.
How can we undo this?
I don't know. So we just won't be on Facebook today.
What if you create a new link, put it in the comments here, so that the Twitch and YouTubers can switch over and boom, do a new thing on Facebook. Is that a thing that can happen?
No, let's just do it. We're good.
No Facebook. All right.
Okay. No Facebook. All right. Hey, what's up? Hi, everybody. We're here. You're here. That's all that matters. Let's see. What's up to our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the Geek Nation? You're currently tuning in to the CultPop podcast live stream, aka spoiler alert, lucky episode 777. I think Noel is ahead of himself with the numbers. Wherein we will review a couple of six books from this past week's comics, as well as talk about some fun pop culture topics. We'll probably go right off the rails immediately. I'm your host, Johnny Destructo of Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, located at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA, 19127. A super rad comic shop which caters to you, specifically you. Today, I got my first phone call.
Oh, that was exciting.
Shut up. About my first phone call wherein someone was upset about the mask mandate. So Philadelphia is going to be doing a mask mandate on the 18th of April, supposedly. And so we never stopped the mask mandate. We have a infant child. He is like 13 months old. He's not vaccinated. And so we just never stopped the mask mandate in our store. I had no idea. I'd forgotten that the mask mandate was even taken away just because we keep doing it. And then this kid called. He's probably in his early 20s. And he was giving me such a hard time. Are you guys going to be doing the mask mandate on the 18th? And I was like, yeah, yes. We never stopped doing it. So definitely. And he's like, but I'm vaccinated. And I was like, okay, well, we're still doing the mask mandate. We have a baby. Well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, I want to protect my son as best I can. So we're still doing the mask mandate. Well, masks don't really. I answered your question. Is there any other questions you have for me? Well, I don't want to wear a mask. That's totally fine. There are, I'm sure, plenty of other comic shops you could frequent that may not be doing the mask thing right now. You're more than welcome to visit them. Well, the masks don't really do any. Is there any other questions you have for me? And I was like asking, like, who is this? Is this one of my subscribers? Because I was thinking if it's a subscriber, I could just be like, hey, man, if you don't want to come in and wear a mask because that's too inconvenient, you could do a drop off. Or, I'll put the books out front and you don't have to come inside. You can pay me in Venmo or PayPal ahead of time and pick them up. But he refused to tell me his name. And he's like, well, masks don't really. And I said, is this one of my subscribers? Are you one of my regulars? Well, the mask mandate isn't. Well, I'm sorry. Who is this? Well, I'm sorry. Who is? And he like yelled at me. He was like, stop. And then hung up. He was so mad that I wouldn't stop asking who it was. So that was neat.
Yeah, I wonder what the reason for that call was, right? Was he just angry about it and calling businesses?
Right, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
So I was, it was touch and go there about whether or not I was going to let this kid have it. I mean, by kid, I mean he was in his probably early 20s.
All right.
So that's a grown man. But yeah, I'm so old that I call 20-year-olds kids.
Mostly, there is a part of the brain that develops at 25, right? That is.
Oh, that's true. I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that deals with like a lot of things commonly thought of as being an adult, like logical reasoning and the conceptualization of consequences and that kind of thing. So yeah, there is a difference, It
was just very frustrating. I was out doing errands and trying to get all this stuff done, and this dingus.
Oh, you weren't even in the store?
No. The if you call the shop, it goes to my cell phone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to shut down the shop to go pick up some supplies.
Hmm.
Anyway, thanks for everyone who's hanging out in the chat. Hal says hello. Dan says hello. Robert Monroe says good evening, Cult Poppers.
Good evening.
Chillin' waiting for this to start.
Here
And
it is.
DL Poe says, sup. Sup, DL.
Yeah. DL Post, have you been in the CultPop chat before? I don't recognize that name. Welcome.
Welcome.
Yes.
We're happy to have you. I'm sorry about venting about dingbats. Thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you to everyone joining us live on YouTube and Twitch tonight, not Facebook, because we apparently, if you go too long from when you say you're going to live stream on Facebook, like if you do not have your issue here, we did not this evening because Noel wasn't here. Facebook, like, nah, dog, get out. We don't want your kind in this establishment. Make a new link. If you like what we're doing, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And also pop into the chat and ask us questions, and preferably related to the subject at hand. But if you got some romance questions,
what do you want to know?
You can also email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com, and we have a book club in Facebook. If you look on Facebook, JD's Hero Complex Book Club. All right, let's get started with this week's book. Immediately after I say, joining me this week is Brian Lieb. Hi, Brian.
Here it was. It was immediate.
I forgot that bit. Sorry.
Hey. That's all right. My name is right there written, but
do you have anything you would like to get off your chest?
Get off my chest. Nothing really comes to mind right now. Who's that walking in behind you? Just people.
So my wife has a hair salon in the back behind the comic shop.
That's cool.
So this is a hair salon client leaving.
That's awesome.
DL Poe says, asleep most weeks. Was here more on Sunday when we used to do it on Sunday mornings. Oh,
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're able to
thanks for
join
tuning
us.
in. Yeah.
All right. Let's get started with Batman Beyond Neo Year #1 from DC Comics, written by Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly, and art by Max Dunbar. The solicitation goes, Neo Gotham is alive and has killed Bruce Wayne. Yeah. It's rejected Terry McGinnis as Batman and offered him a chance to escape. Terry turned it down. He is the city's protector, and he will uphold the legacy of the Batman. Now, Neo Gotham will do everything in its power to destroy Terry, including creating brand new villains to fight him. Terry's first year without Bruce Wayne begins. Does he have a fighting chance?
Is that part of the solicitor, or are you asking? Are you wondering if he has a fighting chance?
It's both of those things. It is part of the solicit, and by reading it, I've asked it.
Yeah, and now you want to know.
Yeah.
But you read the comic.
Quick note. I like how it looks like, I don't know if I look like this to you, but you look like you're broadcasting from 1991.
No, I'm not. It's much less of a delay. That would have been very difficult for me to perceive what was going to happen, the flow of conversation, and record it in 1991.
You're doing great.
Send it to you. Thank you. But if something non sequitur-ish happens, could be that.
Yeah, blame the passage of time.
Blame it.
Have you been reading Batman Beyond at all?
No,
Same.
I have not. None of the versions, of which I'm not sure if this, I think, is a continuation of the long-running Batman Beyond kind of thing, and then there was something in one of the Urban Legends books that set this up. And you haven't either. Yeah.
No, I had no idea. So I didn't know Gotham was alive.
Right.
And the last I heard, the rumblings was that Dick Grayson was the new Batman Beyond. The Nightwing turned into Batman Beyond, or maybe.
Oh, really? I didn't.
It was one of the Robins I had heard had become the new Beyonder.
I know there was a version of Batman Beyond that was Tim Drake a while ago, and maybe they revisited that.
Yeah.
But
anyway, what do you think of this issue?
It was cool. But speaking of it having been introduced in Urban Legends, which they have an editor's note to, and I kind of remembered that had happened. It is such a gigantic change both in the status quo of Batman and of like Gotham in general that I really think maybe they could have teased it in a different way in Urban Legends if that's what they were wanted to do, and tell that part of the story here in this series, or at least
first issue.
Which there's no real reason to think that, Urban Legends is an anthology book that covers mostly Bruce Wayne. I think I haven't read it except for the show, but mostly Bruce Wayne, maybe some other members of the Bat family. But it's certainly not like you're like, if you're interested in Batman Beyond, you're definitely going to pick up that issue of Urban Legends, just to get that story. So that would have been nice. And Gotham being alive. It's not like a standard typical story beat. So some kind of introduction or explanation would have been cool. Having picked up on that, this story was cool. Like it was good. They told a cool Terry McGinnis Batman story. I never really, or at least until the very end, got past the idea of like, why are they doing all this without showing me how it got here? But what do you think?
It was fine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble. I'm trying to bring up the book.
The comic itself?
Yeah.
Well,
I guess I'll have to.
We'll just talk about it. 1,000 words per panel.
It was fine. I thought this was pretty good. Yeah, like I said, I think it's a neat idea that Gotham is alive somehow. It would be nice to know. Were we told how Gotham came to life?
Did it just come to life?
Right.
It's like,
I think it's cool that
here we are now.
I think it's cool that it's creating villains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's such a neat idea. But I don't have really any attachment to Batman Beyond anymore. Like I've watched a couple episodes of the show.
A couple. You didn't see like straight through
perhaps
start to finish?
Perhaps several.
Oh, several. Okay.
Maybe.
What?
It was. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't watch the whole show. So yeah, I'm not a Batman Beyond super fan.
Batman
but I thought this was cute. It was fine. There's so much Batman. There's so much Batman. We're going to be talking about I read 4 books this week for this podcast. 2 of them are Batman related. Half of the books.
Yeah.
So
Batman Beyond is like the fringest of Batman, though.
Yeah.
It's not in regular continuity. It's a totally different, version of the character, and far in the future, far-ish in the future.
I love how future cities all have Neo in front of it, just so you know your future.
Well, what are they gonna just call it? New? That's not new.
Yeah,
anymore.
New. And what was it in Spider-Man? It was Nueva York, right?
Oh, in 2099.
What did I say? Yeah, it's Amazing Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2099. Yeah, Nueva York.
Was it? Oh, I forgot that part.
Now Hal says now they're doing Batman Beyond in the Batman White Knight series. That's true. Batman Beyond the White Knight. Number 1 just came out. However, I haven't read it because I've only read the White Knight, and I haven't read Curse of the White Knight or the Harley Quinn White Knight miniseries. So I am behind.
I wonder what the deal with Batman Beyond White Knight will be, or White Knight Beyond, or whatever they call it. Like, will he be in the same mold as Bruce Wayne? Is like the take as far as White Knight, or is he somebody doing the right thing? Who knows? I didn't read White Knight, so I don't know what to deal with.
White Knight was
what
good.
He does this. That's what I heard.
It's interesting. Yeah,
that's what I heard.
But I'm not going to continue with Batman Beyond.
No,
this Neo.
It, like many things that are adapted, it doesn't feel quite like the thing that it's from. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that too. It's not more Batman Beyond. It doesn't feel like it is the series. There's a different feel to it. Like any kind of thing, any show or movie that is adapted into a comic, unless they're telling the same story, then it's just a different version of the same story. But it's not like, oh, this is in the same continuity as the cartoon. You know what I mean? I mean, it can be if you like it.
I think it is supposed to be.
I mean, it is supposed to be. It just doesn't feel that way to me.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know, another thing about them not telling us what happened is Neo Gotham has taken a drastic action, but is also, and a lot of drastic violent actions, but also seems to want the best, what it thinks is the best for Neo Gotham, for the city, you know, and the motivations of this entity, this new
city
life form, are like left completely vague, but not even in a kind of a vague way, like, oh, we don't know. It's just like, you should know this.
Yeah,
but you're not hearing it here.
Like, why is Gotham mad at Terry McGinnis?
Right, he's always trying to help things out. He does. I mean,
you know what it might
stuff
be?
Gets destroyed. What is it?
Property damage.
It could be. It could be.
You keep just breaking parts of my body.
Yeah.
over and over again.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I mean, but the villains do that too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I would like a conversation with Gotham. I would like Terry to sit down.
Yeah. Like a one-on-one.
How can I help you?
Yeah. Let's hash this out. Let's figure out what's what and what we need to do so that everybody's happy. That's I think would be a good.
You're an entire freaking city.
Yeah. What do you need?
Help me help you.
Yeah. I don't know about cities coming to life. I don't know about that.
This is new to me.
Right.
Bummer that old Bruce Wayne is dead, though.
Yeah, that is a bummer, because that's a cool and major element of Batman Beyond, you know.
Yes.
But you know, like, it's cool to see what Terry can do without it, but can that go on for very long and still be the Batman Beyond that you want?
Yeah,
you know,
that we all know and loved, or at least were moderately entertained by.
But yeah, from at the minimum is moderately entertained up to loved and no. But for all those people.
And watched either a couple or several episodes of.
Or one and you liked it, kind of, you know, if you were interested in that world, but you never really watched another one.
I have been tempted to go back because it's streaming, I believe, on
HBO Max.
An app. On your friendly neighborhood app. Yeah. And I just haven't gotten around to it. I'm doing a Buffy rewatch instead. So
that's cool.
Sorry.
That's cool. It's good that it's back. You know, another animated series that I really liked that I think is on HBO Max is Brave and the Bold. Batman Brave and the Bold.
You have sung its praises
many times. It's very cool.
More than several.
An homage. It's been more than several over the amount of times.
Over the more than several years we've known each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dan H says the cartoon was great. Yes. So shui.
Yes.
I was thinking about that as I was reading it. The fake, like the new lingo.
The slang, yeah. And I think that they do a good job. And I have a particular interest in when that happens well. You know, like Mode and Crash in Young Justice.
Yeah.
Sprock you know what? In Legion.
Here's the thing.
What do you got?
About Young Justice. I don't know if I brought this up on the podcast before, but I was watching the new season recently. And so the cool thing about anyone who's not watching Young Justice, it's a great DC cartoon. One of my all-time favorites. I love it. It's not all perfect. There's some peaks and valleys, but on the whole, just a really well done piece of animated entertainment for superheroes. And the beginning season, you've got these teenagers who are speaking with different lingo than we have in the real world.
Well, like that Robin keeps making up, right?
Yeah, Robin's making up. Moded.
No, Mode and Crash came from Bart when he traveled back from the future.
Right, but in the show.
In the first one. Right, but he wasn't around till a later season.
Oh, sorry.
But no, what I thought you were talking about is that Robin says, like, all right, stay whelmed, everybody. Yeah. Which I love.
There's overwhelmed, but not and underwhelmed. But what if you're just whelmed?
Yeah.
Which I liked at the time. Okay, so my long story short.
Okay.
All of these things were created in the early seasons of the show. Those characters who were teenagers have now become adults. And the next generation of teenagers are using the same very specific slang that the teenagers of the previous generation were using.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys aren't making up your own slang. You're just reusing. It doesn't feel real to me. I mean, we do say, kids today still say cool.
Kids since like the 1860s or something.
And
I don't know. Cool's old.
I'm pretty sure totally tubular is still in the zeitgeist.
It's in the zeitgeist. Yeah. I've definitely seen it around. Awesome, right? Awesome was out for a while and then kind of came back.
Dope started in like the 80s or earlier. And
and then kind of by but with Crash and Mode, it's a particular circumstance where they come from the future anyway. So maybe they will like Bart says them when he comes back. So it just like sticks around since then. And maybe the young heroes are like, man, that sounds cool. And those guys are cool.
Those guys are cool.
Stay whelmed. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to
Let's do it.
Spider-Punk, number 1.
Right.
Marvel Comics, written by Cody Ziegler, with art by Justin Mason. This is in all caps. Anarchy in the Spider-Verse. Spider-Punk gets his own series. Hobie Brown is the anarchic Spider-Punk, set to protect Earth-138 with his axe in hand and his chaotic band of punk rockin' heroes backing him. Norman Osborn is dead, but will the chaos he's created be too much for Spider-Punk and gang to handle?
Why do you keep reading it like that? What a weird choice.
Yeah, it was pretty weird for them to make half of the solicitation all caps.
Oh, yeah.
I was just expressing it verbally.
Here.
So, Spider-Punk is one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man suit designs, of which there are an impossible amount of really good designs. I think there are so many good Spider-Man designs.
How many are your favorites? 15?
How many are my favorites? All right.
Yeah.
Ben Reilly, Scarlet Spider.
There we go.
Ben Reilly, Spider-Man. Ben Reilly as current Spider-Man from Beyond.
Sweet. Okay.
The regular Spider-Man suit. The Black Spider-Man suit. Spider-Punk. Spider-Gwen. The Spider-Girl, Aranya Spider-Girl, when she grew up and had like all the whole black and white.
Okay. Well, I was really just thinking Spider-Man costumes. I do want to hear about the other ones, but I was
Cosmic Spider-Man.
There we go. Okay.
Cosmic Spider-Man was a good one.
Where he's got the little web in
the David Michelini run. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
cool.
So many good Spidey costumes out there.
Yeah. And so does that round out your Spider-related favorites as well? Spider-Gwen and Ariana. Okay.
Yes.
Sweet.
I never really understood the original Spider. Ooh, Miles Morales is a good one. The original Miles suit.
How do you feel about Spider-Man 2099's costume? What do you think about that? You're not too into it?
I don't understand what I'm looking at. He's got like a skull.
I never got that part. Like I'm into the costume, but I never got that. I mean, it was a Halloween costume. That's why he was wearing it at first.
Yeah.
But why he hung on to that look, I don't know.
That exactly. Like I could understand if that was his first appearance look.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Like why not basically that, but like a big spider?
Yeah. Sorry, it sounded like someone was knocking on my door. Anyway.
Yeah.
All of this is to say I love Spider-Punk's costume.
Cool.
And I think it's really kind of cool that it's Hobie Brown.
Yeah, who's that? That name seems familiar.
Wasn't he the Rocket Racer?
The Rocket Racer.
Let's Google
it. Because that's a name that I don't.
He was a villain.
Recognize. He was a villain.
The Rocket Racer or the Prowler or something. Hobart Brown. Although a clever inventor, Hobie found himself working as a window cleaner to pay the bills. Gonna make me click on the freaking link. Ugh, now I gotta scroll.
No.
Oh, he was also one of the slingers. He was Hornet.
Oh, he's one of the
slingers.
I do remember the slingers. He
was the Prowler.
He was the Prowler? I thought that was Miles Morales' uncle. There's been more than one. No, there's been more than one Prowler.
That's in the Ultimate Universe, I believe.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Hobie Brown, sibling of the Black Tiger.
The slingers were bad guys?
No, the slingers were good guys.
They were good guys. They took over when Spider-Man he took on like 4 other
persona
public identities. Yeah, and he would only use some of his powers in each one. It's a cool idea. Did they take over the suits? Yeah, it was really interesting. Building on Spider-Man's general feel of like he has powers, but he builds additional stuff for himself, like the web shooters, a combined sort of thing, unlike other heroes. This is cool too. Like, why not?
Very clever.
If he needs to, use these. But so then Hobie Brown took over one of those identities. After was that who the
Hornet?
The Hornet was.
Yeah, he was the Hornet.
Cool.
So Hobie Brown has historically been like one of Spider-Man's villains who's just trying to make ends meet.
All right.
And so there's been a couple times where Spider-Man, instead of like just clocking him, will be like, "Hey, let's sit down and have a chat," trying to help him out. Anyway, very cool. In mass media, you do not generally get black men portrayed as punk rockers. It's not something that you generally see.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it surprised me, and I was like, "Well, why should that surprise me?" But yeah.
Growing up in the punk subculture, not a surprise at all. The fact that we rarely see it, oh, that's pretty cool. All right, Hobie Brown is going to be Spider-Punk. That's cool. And I read the last issue he was in, and I went, "Oh, I don't care about this." But I saw that we're doing it again. We're coming back. We're going to visit him. Like, oh, maybe
there was another issue. Was it like a one-shot Spider-Punk thing? Okay.
Yeah, it was a one-shot. Yeah. Let's say it was during Spider-Geddon.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, I got a poster. I even got the poster up on my wall here of Spider-Punk, and I've got the Hot Toys version. It's very cool.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this issue was cute. It was quaint. I think it's. I guess I was expecting Spider-Punk to exist in a more realistic world, but the trappings they gave him were all sort of punk rock related. He lives in this world where there's a lot of punk characters.
It's like the whole world is punk. It seems like.
I guess, yeah, sort of. So that wasn't as interesting.
Okay.
If everyone's a punk, no one's a punk. But the look is cool, and there's things like they wrote in. People would speak in punk lyric quotes.
Oh, really?
So at the end there, yeah. If you're gonna scream with me, which is a Misfits lyric. And I believe there was another Misfits lyric earlier in the issue, and I was just like, oh, all right, I got it. And the art is not for me. I was not so into the artwork by Jammin' Justin Mason. So yeah, I was really excited about it, and I just wasn't feeling it. What did you think, Brian?
I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah, I am not familiar too much with the punk tenets, of the philosophy, but as I understood it, at least they being Captain Anarchy, especially, and to a degree, the other people that he hangs out with, seems to further and embrace the punk ideals, right? Of like, I don't know, anarchy, and they just seems to be that sort of thing, like the as far as it goes as a philosophy, not just the dressing up in a particular way or liking a particular kind of music kind of thing, but that's only as I understand it, and I have not been too involved in that culture, other than tangentially through people like you. Yes. But I like the art. I thought it fit this kind of story, it's kind of a callback to this like 70s sort of, or 80s maybe kind of thing. What's up?
I'm sorry. I just realized that when Taskmaster shows up, he literally has one of the hairdos of the Misfits. He's got a Misfits mask. He looks like the Misfits logo
Oh, is that right?
That's pretty cute. That's pretty
right.
cute. I like that. He's even got the hair in the point in the. That's fun. All right.
That's cool. All right.
That stuff is cute, but like the
There you
overall
go.
story, I didn't care about.
Oh. See, I liked the group of characters that they chose, you know, to be
Riri.
their Riri, this Captain Anarchy, somebody who seems to be a Hulk of some sort, who doesn't Hulk out here, but they, you know, they say like, "Hey, watch it, don't Hulk out." So I'm assuming that's the deal. Yeah, yeah. When they go to the what Hobie would like to call the Spider Base, but everyone else calls the Brooklyn Community Center.
Yeah.
Right. It is.
Huh.
Where is it? And when they first show up, there's a guy with a green hoodie with like a green hand in that.
With the metal fingers.
Sign. Yes.
Yeah.
Is that what that's called? Yeah. And they say, they tell him to stay green, and they mention a Hulk a little earlier, but then he says Hulk's not coming out anytime soon. Maybe next time. So
Hulk's not coming. Yeah, there it is. Yep.
Yeah. Which is interesting too in this punk world. If the Hulk is a little more chill or like about coming out, you know, if it's more of a like, all right, you come out when, you know, we're more on the same page about you coming out here. So that would be interesting. Now I can see if you're looking for like he's in a world not dissimilar from this one or the regular Marvel universe, but he is a Spider-Punk. Christopher, good night. Hopefully you are expressing sympathy that the three of us are not here. Noel's not joining us tonight, but
just two of you. Period. Sad.
Yeah, well, it all depends on inflection, right? Which we haven't nailed in the.
Sounds like a Trump tweet.
Well, I would imagine. Whoa. That way.
Sad.
But no, I don't think so. But let us know of your own volition. Right. I don't want to speak for anyone wrongly. So anyway, what were we saying? Yeah, I could see that being a problem if you're like, oh, it's going to be Spider-Punk being a punk against the regular Marvel Universe kind of backdrop, which is sort of similar to the way that we live and do stuff other than superheroes. And then it's this instead. But I didn't know one way or the other. So, because I haven't read the Spider-Verse. You know, I never did. I never read it.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Spider-Verse was awesome.
Yeah, I know. I want to read it. I think I have it. Oh, Christopher, good night. I thought so. JD, I'm pretty sure thought so as well.
I may be many things, but I am not a Trumper, says Christopher Goodnight. That's good.
I thought not. I mean, what I mean by so is not.
So? What?
I said I thought so. And what I meant by so was not.
Yeah. You know, it just
so you didn't like the
feels
art
like
much?
It's fine.
Yeah.
It does. You know what?
Yeah.
Growing up in indie comics as well, the art does feel very indie comics. So that matches. But just the overall package just feels like, okay, there is a meme which comes from a TV show called Strangers with Candy, I believe. And there is
what's her name? What is her name?
Amy Sedaris.
Amy Sedaris, yes.
Yeah. Who you might know from The Mandalorian.
That's Amy Sedaris?
Yeah.
The mechanic? Oh.
No, Ahsoka. Yes, the mechanic.
Amy Sedaris plays Rosario Dawson? Who in turn plays Ahsoka?
Who plays Ahsoka, yeah.
I didn't know
that. Anyway, I'm pretty sure this comes from that. Who's the guy? Who's the actor with the eyes that people Photoshop onto other actors to make them look goofy?
I have no idea. Who would it be?
He was in Boardwalk Empire.
Don Knotts. Steve. Oh, you know, I was thinking Steve Buscemi, and then
Don Knotts.
Yeah.
How old are you?
He's still got pictures around.
The meme of him walking into high school being like, "Hello, fellow kids," and he's got his hat on backwards and he's holding. Oh, is that from 30 Rock?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was from Strangers with Candy. It sort of fits. It fits.
Yeah.
Hello, fellow kids. That's what this whole issue felt like. Was Marvel going?
Yeah.
Hello, fellow kids. How about that punk rock music? It's in this book now. How do you like?
I feel like they're punk.
Jesus Christopher.
We record the Monday after Easter. I see no reason that we wouldn't.
Who knows? The dude's never just like here. What were we talking about?
We're talking about
fellow children. Hey, fellow kids.
Yeah, how they are kind of trying to replicate being in with the scene and the vibe.
Yes. And it just feels as an old man myself.
Yes. But a classic like and true punk rocker.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Punk. What book are we talking about? It's a good question.
Spider-Punk.
There it is. I finally changed the scroll to read Spider-Punk.
JD,
no one always does this stuff.
Oh, yeah. But not this.
Would I consider myself what?
A punk or a punk rocker, and is one just an extended form of the other? I don't think so, but would you just say punk? Punk rocker is like an old term.
Punk is a shortened version of punk rocker.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
And then all other uses of punk, which are so much more common these days, of adding punk as like a suffix to other things, come from that.
Like what?
Like
gutter
steampunk punk? Or acid punk or atom punk, or they've started to define a lot of other like sci-fi eras as diesel punk.
Right.
But I think
I don't think it has anything to do with the music. I don't think it has
no,
to
but
do
it's
with
like
I think
come from that. You know, like punk rock became punk, and then punk was added to things to be like, we are this way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Sounds right. Yeah, I'll say yes.
Nice. Cool.
Anything else to say about Spider-Punk?
No.
That's the other thing. I don't like that his
yeah.
name is Spider-Punk in the show, or in the issue. It's the same thing with Spider-Gwen. Like, we call her Spider-Gwen, but really she's Spider-Woman, or Ghost Spider at this point. Because if you call her Spider-Gwen, it wouldn't make any sense.
That doesn't make sense. But Spider-Punk, I think, does make sense. Because he could have chosen, he's like, I'm punk, I'm a punk, I'm Spider-Punk. You know, like, he's chosen to call himself that.
And I guess the people in the episode, the issue, they quote it. Like, okay, Spider-Punk. It literally has quotes around it. Like when the Hulk is like, when the Hulk says, I'll see you later, Spider-Punk.
Yeah. Well, and also, because you're seeing it from, like, during the Spider-Verse story, you're thinking he would be called Spider-Man, but when all the Spider-Men are together, they got to refer to each other in a particular way, and we, the audience, have to distinguish them in some kind of way. So that's why but he would just call himself Spider-Man, and he acts like this.
Right.
You're saying, yeah.
That's what
I can see that.
That's my take. Chris wants to know, I'm at work tonight, and I was trying to make sure I will have the night off and try to remember to send an email finally, and that's why he's asking about the Monday after Easter. I'm assuming, yes, we'll be going to be doing the Monday after Easter. All right, what's next? I'll tell you. It's X-Men Red #1 from Marvel Comics by Al Ewing with art by Stefano Caselli. Who can save the Red Planet? The mutants of Arakko spent millennia scarred by war. But on what was once called Mars, they're learning to live in peace. Storm knows the Red Planet needs something greater than pain. But Abigail Brand has other plans, along with an unstable Vulcan on her side. And Cable keeping his own secrets. Welcome to X-Men Red! It's a new world, ... And someone has to fight for it.
Who's that
sorry about that?
Do you think?
Someone has to fight for it? I don't know. Who do you think?
It's probably the X-Men. Or people who have been in the X-Men. Yeah.
Mutant-related folk.
I would think so. But you got to read to find out. Or just listen to this review. Yeah, I read it too. Yeah, and
it was
you found
pretty
out.
Good. It's good.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
Here's the thing.
What is it?
Here's one of several things.
I
forgot. I don't remember. Okay, I'm not a long tried and true X-Men fan.
You say Trident
True?
On
the 90s. Trident's true. No, I tried that true. But Trident true.
It's an interesting new saying.
Yeah, for Aquaman fans.
Yeah.
So I don't remember a time that he was called Max. Is Max one of his previous
Magneto? Yeah.
alter?
There was, I don't know if it was even like an alter ego so much as it was, but like, was this one where the writers just started calling him something else? I don't remember. It was, I forget if it was Max Lencher and also Eric Lencher, and then Eric, wasn't there another last name also?
Max Eisenhart.
Yes. Right.
What the
I forget if he assumed that name, because there was a time when he had two different last names that they then, right? Eric Magnus at one point, and it was also Eric Lencher, and then I think they had to like kind of retcon that. Whereas Eisenhart might have been one that he in story took. You're reading about it now. What's the deal?
Oh, I don't know. I'm scrolling and I can't. I'm lagging so hard that I'm just gonna stop.
Okay.
But yeah, so when he called himself Max, I was like, wait, is this new? Is Max new? What's going on? But
he's had a few names. Yeah. And then I don't know that they've always made sense, but it's not new.
Yeah. But otherwise, this was good. I enjoyed this. Every time I dip into an X book, I'm like, I don't care about the X-Men right now. Like, it started off really strong with Hickman, but I don't care. And then every time I have to read one for the show, I'm like, oh, that was pretty good.
You do care.
This X-Men, I do care. And also, this, oof. I'm sorry. All I really care about right now is this new Storm design.
That's a pretty cool Storm costume.
Oh,
yeah, I really like that. I like that as kind of a symbol too. That is not, it's not like a cloud with lightning coming out of it, which is nice, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's not. Was that ever her symbol?
Okay. No, and I'm glad that it hasn't been.
Oh, goodness gracious. That is a wonderful. I hope that the cosplayers are already on this. Because that's a good look.
I mean, it just came out, but hopefully by the time you see them.
They're quick.
Yeah.
Those cosplayers.
They are quick.
But
there's those people that do the body paint. They must be even quicker. Maybe not. I don't know.
So basically this is Arakko.
Yeah.
Now Mars. So Mars was uninhabitable. And then the X-Men, remember we were talking last week about how much we enjoy the way that they're mixing and matching different X-Men abilities in order to create new results. They did that with Mars, where they had different X-Men using their different abilities to colonize Mars.
Like terraform.
Even though that's terraform Mars, colonizing it is in question in this issue, which is kind of neat.
I have a question about that.
And so basically Mars is now inhabitable. It's where the Arakians, Arakko people live. Arakians. And Storm sort of defeated the previous regent. She is regent. And everyone kind of taking her to task on that as well, which is kind of neat. And Magneto is like kind of feeling kind of distraught that this whole new era of mutant heaven that they've created hasn't really worked out the way he hoped it was. And so he's having a crisis. Abigail Brand is in here. There's a lot going on in this one issue, and it has been really interesting. I kind of forgot. Of course he's back, but Proudstar.
Yeah, me too. I was like, oh, right. They could bring him back too. I didn't think about that. But
this man is very angry. He's very angry.
He is upset.
Rightly so. Oh, and I didn't see how it happens, but Cable's new techno virus arm.
I noticed that too. Yeah, it's a cool techno arm thing that he's got. It's a cool look. Is Proudstar right? Yeah, that's cool. I like that kind of all black, glowing tech lines, glowing blue.
Sexy.
is Proudstar rightfully angry? I thought he like willingly I don't remember that issue, but
did he?
I mean, not willingly, not like he was
so
like,
long.
I want to go jump into that, but to save the other X-Men. But maybe he's angry because of his brother, Xavier like got him to take his place, and he's like, oh, you couldn't leave us alone. That would be a reason. I can understand that. So what'd you think of the issue?
It's great.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was really fun.
Nice.
And also the art by Stefano Caselli is really nice. Really nice looking book. I remember when Vulcan showed up, he was another Summers.
Yes.
And then I immediately stopped reading. I just didn't. I was like, I don't care about this at all. So I don't know much about him. Then I guess he took over Sha'ar, became a king of the Sha'ar.
He did.
And now he isn't. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's been a while.
What's going on?
So I like that era of the X-Men a lot, actually. When Vulcan showed up, and that was around when Darwin showed up for the first time. They were they were on the same original team, I think. And I always thought he was cool, and the whole stuff with the Shi'ar and all of that. I liked. So yeah, he was the third Summers brother, which had apparently been rumored for some time. And like various people were thought to maybe be, I think. I wasn't really aware of that, but once Vulcan came around and they were like, this is the rumored third Summers brother. That was when I came into the rumored third Summers brother story. Yeah. And then I forget what happened, but Gladiator became the Emperor of the Shi'ar for a while, and then gave that to, I guess, Xavier and Lilandra's daughter, it seems. Then I'm not so sure. But yeah, so that's the deal with that, as far as I know. And I guess now he's just angry about stuff. Because he didn't die, he thinks he should still be the king. As we noticed earlier.
A couple times.
Yeah. So I don't know the circumstances of him no longer having the crown. As we noticed earlier in a conversation amongst ourselves, Magneto is back in the red and purple, which I didn't register at first until we were talking about it, that had been in the all white outfit before. And this is cool. I like that. Now that I notice it, I'm like, it's his look.
That's a good look. Yeah.
Yeah. I dig it.
I like how he talks to this fisherman, and the fisherman just sort of responds in a way that is, I don't think he's trying to antagonize Max.
No, I don't think so.
Magneto. And but Magneto still is like, listen here, you mother.
Yeah.
All right. My name is Max. Hello. Like he's just immediately ready to lash out and suck the metal out of his body. He's like, let me take a breath.
All right.
And I love the sort of like thing about, they don't call it toxic masculinity, but I like that there's a conversation about toxic masculinity in this book where he's like, I thought that, because he's like, why don't you come down here and we'll talk about your problems. And he's like, but I thought this was a place of strength. And he's like, there's no weakness allowed on Araco. He's like, you think talking about your problems and fixing yourself is weakness? I love that. I love that it's a tiny little scene, but I was like,
I like that too. Nice. I like their whole sort of thing that they had, their continuing conversation and like the back and forth between the two of them is very cool.
Here we go. You Krakoans think a lot of us, but know a little. Speaking pain is weak, is it? How's that sense, Max? How can you be strong if you won't heal what's broken? How can you heal without saying it hurts? It's a nice little bit of dialogue. I like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. He's shaping up to be an interesting character, an interesting sort of like wise person. Which is cool. And and Magneto's immediately like, all right, I'll build a house with an open door. Anyone is welcome. I just want peace here. It looks good. And I also like their, the older guy's like, it's kind of Spartan around here. And he's like, well, I'm not the master of carpets. We'll deal with that later.
That was great.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
That was cool.
Yeah.
So Magneto was born Max Eisenhart, and later paid a forger to create the Eric Lenscher identity, according to this entry. Yeah. So that's the deal there.
That's neat. Thank you for that. Thank you,
got
Google, by way
No
of
problem.
Brian. Tell Google I said thank you.
I will. Wikipedia also technically supplied that answer.
Nice.
Yeah. But I Googled it, and that's where I got the answer. So they
take
bring
another
up
minute
the thing. Here it is.
So look at this again. Just gonna look at it.
1 minute.
Here we
Thunder
go.
round.
Where we just stand in
looking
silence.
at the costume. That's cool. Sort of a distant rumble. But so they mention at one point, she's like, Brand is like, you know, you guys colonize Mars, and I think Storm says that's not what happened. Nobody was living here. This wasn't a colonization. I don't think somebody has to be living there to colonize something.
I think she's just. I think we're using the.
Yeah, but like that's the best kind of colonization is when you go and there's nobody there. You know.
Right. Yeah.
That's good, or can be good. So.
Yeah, I think she was just referring to the negative connotations that generally applied to
over.
colonization. Yeah. I'm going to talk to Google.
We got to get out into space, right? We gotta do that someday. Hopefully.
Oh, nope. The definition is the action or process of settling among and establishing control over the indigenous people of an area.
Wait, what? That's what it says in the dictionary?
Yep. That is the New Oxford American Dictionary definition of colonization.
But what do we do when we go out into space? Yeah. We'll need another word.
Well, she says another word. What does she say?
I don't know. I didn't think it was. They call it resurrection. Oh, and then Krakoa appropriated Mars, but that's what Brand says, and I don't think that's an accurate word either.
I think I think she's kind of digging at her a little bit. Like, oh, you don't like that word? We're gonna use this one instead. Appropriated. Yeah. I think she was being kind of snarky there.
All right, so a colony is a group of people who leave their native country to form a new land, a settlement subject to or connected with the parent nation, a country or district settled or colonized, any people or territory separated but subject to a ruling power. Well, we don't necessarily want that when we go out into space either. Well, the definition is in flux. Any group of individuals having similar interests, occupations, etc., usually living in a particular locality. That sounds good. And some sort of newness, a different place than you started in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well.
You would think they would just say terraformed.
Yeah, but terraformed just means to make habitable. To actually go and live there is a different thing. You know, they're starting a community in this new place.
You could have just said moved.
We moved
when y'all moved here. When y'all moved to Mars.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, if that's if that word needs to mean that for now, or like if that is an important thing and it seems like it is, we just need another word or a different word to mean we went out and settled someplace.
What it previously meant.
Yeah.
I had a very interesting conversation with somebody a couple years back where these tangents are much more likely without Noel, says
yes,
Dan.
Noel commented on that in our chat. I like the tangents. Cult Poppers. How do you feel about these tangents?
That's why when Brian is here without Noel, I let Brian just have at it.
It's fun.
This is his time to reign. So, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, about racism, right? So, I always thought growing up, as in straight Whiteville, that racism could be perpetrated on any people.
Yes, you were accurate. Right? The definition has changed since that time.
Yes,
but not in the dictionary. So
someone had said something about white people, and I was like, all people that. And of course, it was years and years ago. Back then, I was like, oh, that sounds kind of racist, isn't it?
Yes.
And then I got schooled. About how racism is more about, these days, is more about institutional racism, right?
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, you could be discriminated against. There's discrimination, but racism is not really against white people because it has to come from a place of power, and white people historically have been in places of power, right?
In Western society.
That was just, it was a really, what?
In Western society, I think we often forget that there is, you know, the entire other section of the world in which different kinds of racism is happening.
What? Other places, those don't exist. Only America.
And the European countries from which we were settled.
Nope, just America. Just America.
No, I mean, in you know, the Asian communities, there was a lot of racism going on from some groups toward other groups that the nuances of which are not that I don't know exactly, but you know, aren't as part of our daily lives here in this part of the world. Now, but that is a changed definition, right?
Yes.
Racism, you can also say, is and has been any kind of illegitimate, you know, any kind of illegitimate appraisal of another group of people based on race and actions thereof. You know, that is the definition of which I was first aware. If the definition changes, it's not like definitions can't change, but also to say, no, you are wrong about this. This is the definition. You are incorrect. What is the difference? If it is called that, but you can say, oh, but you can be prejudiced or you can be discriminated against. Those are just different words that we choose to indicate different things. The concept of white people having been the ones mostly perpetrating it here because they are the ones in power is important. And if we want that to mean, if we want that to be what racism, the word, means, because we need a way to express that, then that's okay. But I don't know that you were necessarily wrong for having said, oh, well, no, I mean, any kind of judging people by their race is wrong and can be called racism, you know?
Yeah.
That's, thank you, DL Post. DL Post says he likes the tangents. He or they or whomever says, I like the tangents. I learn things. DL Post is not a name with which I am familiar with the gender of, and that wouldn't necessarily matter even if it was.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was a new word for that.
Sure.
For what racism now means, because I'm old, and it would be easier for me to learn a new word than to
repurpose an old word.
Previous word. That's fine. Racism, great. That's fine. I don't care. The racism. I don't care.
That's fine. Jason's final word on the topic
no one
of
take
racism.
that out of context.
No, of course not.
The changing of the word racism is fine with me, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Important, even, I feel like, is what you're
very important. Was. Yes.
Right.
The one that bothers me, the changing of a word that bothers me, is literally.
Yes, to mean the opposite of literally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the opposite of literally. That, and you know, you get people who use literally so wrong for so long that the dictionary just gave up and was like, fuck, all right, I guess it means the opposite of what it means now. But then objectively is also very frustrating for me. Anytime someone talks about, you know, someone was in here, Joe Ray was in here, and he was interviewing me about fandoms and toxicity in fandoms and all this other stuff. Very interesting conversation. And wound up talking about Star Wars. And there are people who come into a conversation and are like, well, this episode of Star Wars was objectively bad. And I'm like, motherfucker, stop it. That's subjective. Right. Just because you
all
have that opinion.
Of bad or good are subjective.
Exactly. Yeah. And they come in like, oh, it's objectively bad. And I'm like, you shut your stupid pie hole.
I think it started
but with no pie, because you don't deserve any pie in your pie hole. What?
Yeah. Just because that's what the whole is of and for doesn't mean it always has to have pie in it.
Doesn't mean you deserve it.
Yes. I think it started like literally. It's one of those things that started as an exaggeration to prove a point and it has been lost that it was an exaggeration. You know,
talking about literally
and objectively, where you're like, this thing is objectively cool. It's like you're sort of joking when you say that, or you ought to be. You know,
you should be. Yeah.
Right. But you know, words change meanings. Silly used to mean holy, like the priests, the silly priests. And at the time, it meant holy, right? There's like medieval writings that call them silly. And then
I've never heard this.
Yeah, so here it is. You're hearing it. It's begun. And it meant holy, which meant they lived kind of a removed life, either in a monastery or just by philosophy or persuasion. They were removed. So then that slowly turned into like removed and then out of touch. And then from there to like acting a way that other people don't act or wouldn't act, but more and more in what we would now use the word silly to mean. Like a silly person is removed from the norm, out of touch, or acting differently.
How about that?
Cool.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Huh, that's neat.
Yeah, it's fun. I love etymology and kind of stuff. It shows you how things have progressed in some ways, you know, just how society has progressed.
Now that's etymology, not entomology, right?
Yeah, the study of those donuts.
Entoms.
Yeah. Which are made with bees. Now, entomins are not made with bees, to my knowledge, but yes, entomology is the study of insects, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Hal says, I want some pie in my pie hole.
You should. Which one is your pie hole?
Wherever you put your pie is your pie hole.
That's the question I'm asking. There's, you know what, guys? I've been using this app and website for years, and I'll take this opportunity to give it a shout out, the Online Etymology Dictionary. If you're ever interested in or want to look
you were
up.
going to say it is called Google.com.
Google.com. Listen,
let me turn you guys on to a little something.
It's like the internet. That's what this is. And it'll take you to any different part of it, and you just search. Listen, you got to put the right words in.
If you like Ask Jeeves, wait till you get a hold of it.
It's like an Ask Jeeves you don't have to phrase in the form of a question. I'm not sure if you did have to do that with Ask Jeeves.
Let's move on.
All right.
To Batman Killing Time #2, DC Comics, written by Tom King, art by David Marquez. The epic continues, and blood will spill. Catwoman and the Riddler have pulled off the perfect crime, and are now in possession of the most valuable object in the DCU. But how long can they hold on to it with not only Batman on their tail, but also a terrifying new villain known simply as the Help that we definitely didn't meet in this issue, and I don't know why they mentioned his name in the solicitation. Because I don't think we met
the Help.
Did we meet the Help?
No, although it turns out he's narrating the whole thing. But I have a pretty good idea of who he is, if he's any Batman villain we've met.
Did I forget? Did I not finish the issue? No, I finished it. Listen to me. Listen to this.
I'm listening.
So the end of the issue is Batman's racing. Like, it keeps jumping through time. You know, we talked about issue #1, and we were like, boy, howdy. I sure hope that we don't have to keep dealing with this date and time jumping around for the rest of the series. And it turns out we do have to keep dealing with it because it continues in this issue. And so all of this back and forth, date and time nonsense. And at the end, the Riddler and Catwoman have been waiting this entire time for someone to, and they sort of make it seem like they're waiting for someone that they're expecting, but Batman's driving there at 213 miles an hour, and he's going to get there, and it's probably him behind the door, and we never see who's behind the door. That's the cliffhanger.
Yeah. I think it was 211 miles an hour.
They tell you in the solicitation
that
it's the
Help. Meet him. That is odd. Yeah, that is odd. I didn't read the solicitation beforehand. Is Help capitalized, or is it all capitalized?
What's that?
Is Help capitalized? Like, that's the name of this person?
I would have told it if it was all capital.
Yeah, you would have.
It's not.
That's
It's
true.
regular. Oh, bye,
Peace.
Hal.
So long, Hal.
Hal says he's got to leave. He's on day shift for a while. I need to get some sleep. I'll watch the rest of this tomorrow night. Good night, Cult Poppers. Sweet dreams, Hal.
Yeah, and get us the answer about that other question.
DLO says GN.
Graphic novel. It's kind of a non sequitur, but
go on. Sorry, continue.
The is help capitalized? That's not like the character's name, right?
Yeah, the help.
Strange. That is strange to me.
Also, a terrifying new villain known simply as the help.
The help. Oh, yeah. I was thinking it was the Clock King, Temple Fugit.
Oh,
because he's
all the time,
right? Because of all the time stuff. And when he says like once it's known that he's narrating it, yeah,
that makes sense. DL was saying good night to Hal. It was a GN means good night. Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Well, Hal 2814 says that he's going to go find out what pie hole means on a website called Pornhub.
Now I'm going to go on Pornhub and type in pie hole and see what comes up. LOL.
Yeah. So let us know. Give us that information, please. Possibly in the form of an email.
Has been up too.
Yeah. So I thought it was Clock King once we found out that the narrator is a character here. In the first issue, it's like, oh, okay, that's just the way the story is being told. And it could be an omniscient narrator. But with this one, he's all about timing stuff. And then he's like, Batman's going at this speed on this road. He's going to be here around this time. That's his whole thing, is knowing when stuff is happening or what the deal with that is.
Although, the only thing that makes me say that's not the Clock King is because he uses the term roughly. He
did, and that surprised me at the end. Even in whether or not it's the Clock King, I was like, that's kind of weird. Maybe it's like he can't know for sure because there are variables. It's not like this train is always this late or that kind of thing. Also, I don't know, was the Clock King even in the comics? He must have been. But I only know him from that.
I've never seen him in the comics.
Me either. Yeah.
Or the egg. What's that guy's name? Eggman.
Egghead.
Remember him from the Batman 60s? Yes, my worst nemesis, Egghead. Eggman.
The two eggs in one. Although that definitely could have been on that show. But yeah, I don't think I'm not really sure what Eggman's deal was. I could have been Egghead. I don't remember. I very, very tangentially am aware, vaguely know that he was a character that was named like that. Egghead Eggman. Yes. But no, I haven't seen him either.
Noel's having a conniption if he's listening to this.
Probably a conniption of pangs of joy, I would assume.
Yeah, he loves
kind of a writhing in pleasure while he does what he's got to do. I would assume. That's just how I see it.
My one regret in my life is that I've never writhed in pleasure.
Never? Oh, all right.
Not once.
We'll just do it.
I had Molly once. Great. But I don't know if I writhed in pleasure. It just sort of
work in pleasure.
Yeah. I lazed about in pleasure.
You lazed about in pleasure, but as long as it was in pleasure, what's the big deal?
I'm just saying, I would like to, for once in my life, ride in some pleasure.
Yeah.
What do you guys do? What do you guys and gals do out there
to ride in pleasure?
To initiate a good writhing?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Can you just writhe in pleasure, right? Mm-hmm. Can you bring that on? Like, it's not like you're writhing because of something pleasurable, but you just start writhing and be in pleasure.
Instead of lazing about, I should have started writhing,
and then enjoy it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Writhe and enjoy it, and then you'll be made. That's it. So
I've writhed by next week. I've writhed.
Yeah, that's probably worse.
But I've never.
Not as fun at all. Yeah.
Yeah, writhing in pain is a little worse than writhing in pleasure. Given my druthers.
You'd writhe in pleasure? Yeah.
Yeah, if I could pick.
That's what I do too. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
From the two of them.
God,
So,
what are we talking about?
Right. Batman killing
Clock
time.
King.
The Clock King. Is that this guy or
Yeah.
not? No? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he would bring in the Clock King, right? Or if he does, he probably wouldn't call him Clock King.
Right.
But who knows? Did you notice all the names of the various Batman creators? Like everything was named after a Batman creator. It was everything.
Yeah, that was a lot. And then, he ate a Dick Giordano burger.
Oh, I didn't even catch that one.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
No, I think they mentioned Giordano though. Something here
it was Giordano Bridge, or
but it wasn't
Giordano Drive,
right.
or I don't good name drop so often.
Yeah.
But there were so many in here that I was like, all right, guys, we get it. You know a lot of Batman. Morrison's in there.
See, that's when when he said Morrison, I was like, all right. But then when it was like everything that would have a proper name had one, I was like, oh, okay. If it's all of them, then that's, But yeah.
Do we know who's Bridwell?
Nathan
is that
Bridwell,
one of them?
I think it is. Nelson Bridwell.
Okay, Bridwell's Fine Jewels.
Nelson Bridwell, maybe something.
Oh wow, sure.
It was somebody maybe from like the real early days.
The door to her apartment, which is located in Kane Tower.
I know, right?
On Haney Street.
Yeah.
Almost every page.
Anything that there is that has a name, like that could be named after something that isn't already named in Batman continuity, is one of those things. I also thought the part where they did the whole she's putting her key in the lock kind of thing, when they mentioned that it's at Kane Tower in this place, that was verbose at best. There was a lot of like, now I'm doing this. Now she's doing this. Now she's doing this. This is happening now. Then she opened the door. And it was kind of all right because she opened it and then Batman was right there. And that was kind of cool. But the whole comic kind of has that like pace,
She crosses through the lobby to the elevator. She takes the elevator to the 37th floor. She walks down the hallway. She uses her key to open unit 742. At 2:40 p.m., she opens the door. She finds Batman waiting. My favorite, though, is I can't tell if this is going to be important.
That everything is so precise.
This particular scene I'm about to talk about.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if this is important or we're going to see it again, or if he's just taking the piss out of the fact that he's doing this a lot. Roughly 3,000 years later, on March 4th at 2:34 p.m., Elizabeth Andrion sits at the number 42 bus stop on the 400 block of Haney Street.
Oh.
She watches the Batmobile drive by her. It is heading north.
Yeah.
It's literally just a woman sitting at a bus stop, and the Batmobile passes her.
Yeah.
So I was
she really noticed
funny
it.
If you're taking the piss. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I thought for me, it was when it was like she uses her key to open up. I'm like, uses her key? Like that's the level of detail that we're applying to this, But I did like the next part of that scene where she's like, all right, Batman. He's like, it's pronounced Batman. No hyphen in his word balloon. That was cool. So immediately last issue when they're like, all right, here's all the money that we owe Croc. You just keep this safe. Hang on to it. I'm like, is that going to work? Is she still going to have that money when he gets out? And she has already bought a $14,000 necklace. Like the first thing
and now
that
she
wants
purchased.
Some more stuff.
Now she
some
wants
more
the
jewelry.
earrings.
Yeah, right.
To go with it. Yeah.
Which are probably pretty expensive as well. It's like, let me get those $5 ones, the plastic ones, to go with my $14,000 necklace.
I really did like the interaction between Catwoman and Riddler, because Riddler's acting a little squirrely, and Catwoman's like, "You motherfucker! If you left Batman a goddamn riddle, I am gonna choke you. I'm gonna kill you." And he's like, "No, I didn't leave any riddles.
This isn't the time.
Don't worry about it." And I was like, "He's lying. He definitely left a riddle."
You think he left a couple of riddles?
And he did. and it's
Did he?
pretty good. It's pretty funny.
Wait, what was it? What's his riddle?
The
Oh,
is
the
when
Morse code thing.
Yeah, he beat the penguin
Right.
with his own umbrella.
Yeah.
His blows are not even. Some are harder than others. It creates a pattern of bruises on the penguin's body. A big bruise, then a small bruise, then a small bruise, then a big bruise. Long, short, short, long. Morse code written out in penguin's flesh. A message, an address.
Are they? So is it like in lines of Morse code? Because that is not a difficult riddle to solve. And if it's not in lines,
Well,
then
you
how
have
could
to
you
know
solve
to
it at
look-
all?
How would you know to look at bruises that someone put on a body in order to even look for a riddle to solve?
All right. It might be a difficult riddle for you or I or people who are not out there crime
The world's
fighting.
greatest detective.
Exactly. Yeah. And who wouldn't even necessarily know that there was a riddle to solve. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But Batman's going to look at this and be like, there's a bunch of Morse code on this body. You know, like, I'll just read this. Now,
that's a straight up address.
Yeah, like right there. I know Morse code. I don't even have to look it up. Like, but I think, and what would be truly difficult is if it's like, you can figure out which one is first by some, you know, like, well, this bruise was delivered after this one, and this one is that. Right. So it's not
because of the swelling
accordingly.
And
right. Then that would be a Batman level mystery, a riddle to solve. You know, that would be cool. Now, I'm glad that you guys like it when I mention facts or things that I find interesting. And so the very first lines of this book are, it's whatever year, what is it? It's 11:57 at 3:57 p.m.
Yes.
That is unlikely because minutes were not invented until the year 1000. They didn't have minutes, right? They didn't have minute hands for sure. And I thought this myself, right? Like, in the modern world, you can be 5 minutes late to something, and it's a stress, and it kind of sucks, you know?
We've talked about this. Yeah, go on.
It's not that old of a concept. Minutes are not part of the fabric of reality. They're a unit of time that we made up. Before minute hands on clocks, how could you ever be 5 minutes late to something, right? Like, you know, you're 10 minutes late today to work. Impossible. Now, I looked up when I saw this, I looked it up, and I figured it was wristwatches or clocks or whatever that started that. It wasn't. It was a guy, I don't remember his name is, all something, A-L-B something. He was a mathematician and scientist, and he first subdivided the hours into 60 increment things called minutes. And that was in 1000 CE. So about, 1943 years before this scene takes place, where they list it's 3:57 p.m. So it wasn't, at least at the time. And can we look back and say, like, well, we tracked it back, but was it that time? You know, if we apply, it was that. But what if we later change to 100-minute, hours?
Then Tom King will have to go back and change this book.
Or somebody will have to. Or, would we then look back and be like, well, this was way, this was at a different time at that time. Who knows? But
Dan H says you would find out by a very precise sundial.
A very precise sundial, but it'd have to have the little markings too. And I don't know that anybody thought to make the little markings. They were like, we got time. We're hanging out. Yeah,
I'll meet you sometime between that line and the other line.
Yeah. And then, if I'm a couple of lines late, whatever, because people were still late back then, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course.
Some people were.
There was always that one dude.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's always at least 9 lines late.
Exactly. I'm that dude.
I have to tell him,
I don't like
be here 9 lines earlier.
I don't like
just to get him on time.
But, yeah. And it's always 9 lines. Come on, man.
Always 9 lines.
It's al-Biruni. Al-Biruni is the guy. The first. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else about the Batman?
I did. There's two things in Arkham that I thought were interesting. One, because I'm going to make fun of that they have an interrogation room. Why is there an interrogation room and at least 6 of them in this asylum? Like, why?
Yeah.
And why is Croc there already? Like, maybe he broke out of there and so they put him right back. But shouldn't he be in? Like, he was just arrested, and then they're like, "We have an interrogation room here in Arkham. Let's bring him over there." Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. But
this is how we help.
Yeah.
Mentally ill patients.
Sometimes we got to figure out what's what, and that involves some pressure. You know.
Yeah.
That's how it is. These are very violently insane people. Yeah.
Hold on a second.
I'm holding.
DL Post is in the comments saying, but AM PM means the opposite in England?
Really?
What?
How would that?
No.
But it's ante-meridian and post-meridian.
What about Chase Meridian?
He's all right. You mean the guy that runs that bank?
It's a she. Chase Meridian is wasn't that the character's name from Batman Returns or Batman and Robin?
Oh, it was, and I thought it sounded like a
Chase
bank.
Meridian.
And it
I always thought it sounded
like
a bank too.
I think those are 2 different banks, right?
Yeah. Why would they name the picture after a bank?
Yeah.
Weird.
It's very strange.
Anyway, go on. What was the other thing about Arkham?
Oh, I like how he disappears. And Gordon's like, "This is a hallway." Is he hiding behind a trash can?
Yeah, that was cool. I laughed out loud at that one.
Yeah.
Like he disappeared. So anyone who doesn't know, Batman generally when he's talking to Commissioner Gordon or Captain Gordon or whatever Gordon we're talking
Lieutenant.
to,
He
generally will just disappear.
Yeah.
Like while Gordon is saying something, they'll look over and be like, he disappeared again. But they're walking down a very long corridor hallway, and he just disappears. And Gordon's like, "What the fuck? We're in a hallway. Where did he go?" Very funny. After and pre in England, says DL Post in the comments. AM and PM. You know what? I'm going to do no research of my own. I'm going to see this information on the internet and just assume it's correct.
I am doing research on it right now.
Damn it! Damn it, Brian. All right. So that's that.
JD, I believe, is that, or are there 2 more things?
Well, okay, I'm sorry. That I'm referencing
is Batman Killing Time.
Is Batman Killing Time and the regular reviews of the show.
Which is it?
Next
is it Killing Time or Killing Time? Which one do they want?
What?
You know, like, is it time to kill or are they just chilling? Because Wonder Woman, Catwoman and Riddler are kind of killing time.
They spend a lot of time just hanging out, right? Yeah, they're killing time. Killing time. Oh, what if it is the Clock King?
It's Killing Time.
Killing Time.
He loves that time.
This is his favorite time of day.
He loves it. It's his best time
AM
of
or
day.
PM. There's
Doesn't
every 12 hours. There's a Killing Time PM, Killing Time AM.
Yeah.
All right. A broken Clock King is right twice a day. So we're going to do some Thunder rounds.
Thunder rounds.
Thank you very much.
You got it.
And let's see. A Thunder round is a 60-second review. And the first one, Brian's going to do both of them.
Yes.
Thank you. The first Thunder round.
Thunder round.
That he's going to do is Wonder Woman Historia, The Amazons, #2 from DC Comics, written by Kelly Sue DeConnick with art by Gene Ha. And this is the second installment of the jaw-droppingly ambitious history of the Amazons. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to give you... Are you ready to go?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm ready to go about. I am ready to go about the Thunder rounds. But if we would like before, I've been looking up on the Greenwich Mean Time website what AM and PM means. And this is in Greenwich, England, where the 0, that's like the Greenwich Mean Time is what sets the time for all the other time zones, And they seem to reference AM and PM meaning antemeridium. I always thought it was meridian with an N. And PM standing for post-meridium. or after midday. And they are British. So there may be a nuance about this that I'm not getting. DL Post, if you've got some more information, I'd love to hear about it. Big Chewy Nerds Jelly Bean. JD's got some Big Chewy Nerds Jelly Beans, and that's not Nerds Possessive. That's plural. So JD, if they're his jelly beans, I didn't know Nerds made jelly beans, and I didn't know that they were big, but I assumed they were. I mean, why wouldn't they be chewy?
Well, Nerds themselves are not chewy.
Not at all. But if they're going to call them jelly beans, like, you know, but you didn't know that by that part of the title. Are they like Nerds? Are they shaped like Nerds? Do they taste like them? What's this about?
They're shaped like jelly beans.
Okay, but they kind of got a mottled finish.
Yeah,
like Nerds. Do they have a hard exterior?
Crunchy.
Are they crunchy? That sounds like that sounds really good.
These are delightful.
Do you sell them at your storage for 4327 Main Street?
I don't. So if you stop by,
why not?
I'll give you a handful of mine.
How long are you going to have those?
How long is this show?
I can't get there by then. I'm in the show.
Anyone else, though? Anyone else who stops by? All right.
So
I'm going to put a minute on the clock.
All right. Which one are we doing first here?
Wonder Woman.
I wasn't paying attention. I was reading about AM/PM.
You Mother Hubbard.
I mean, I know what I'm doing, just not which one.
Okay.
Let's do
Wonder Woman Historia.
Here we go.
The Amazons, number 2. I'm putting 60 seconds on your clock.
All right.
Go.
Okay. This was awesome. I really liked the first one. There was a little more grounded art in this one. I know when they were up in Olympus, it got kind of crazy, which I really liked. But this art is also excellent. There is a very cool mythological feel to this. The way that the gods are represented, Artemis is. They all look really cool. They have distinct, defined looks, but Artemis, the goddess of the wild and the hunt, shows up, and she's kind of dressed in this like ripped shift, and then she is the wind, sort of, and then she's back into that form. Very cool stuff. And then Hippolyta.
Don't give us a rundown. Just tell us if you liked it.
I liked it. Does something very cool where she's like, I want to be with the Amazons. No, I want to be an Amazon. And their journey is very cool.
End of round.
Yeah.
So would you recommend it?
I would highly recommend it. The whole second part of the story, really the meat of the story, I didn't get to it at all, but it was very cool. It involves what the group who are the Amazons do and how you become Amazons in the beginning of that, and the liberating kind of journey of these people, and it's very cool. Very cool. Their interactions are all awesome. So yeah, I very much recommend it. Yeah.
So I had a Thunder Round.
Thunder Round.
Was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
One of it, maybe.
I did the whole 60 seconds. And I was like, you didn't tell us anything. You
I remember
just
that.
told us
you talked about a different
happened.
comic. Yeah.
Spider-Man.
I think you talked about the story thus far. Hey, it's your round. You know, you say what you want to say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Want to do another one? Good, because you're gonna.
I do. Because sometimes also what's cool is what happened. And you're like, this shit, that was awesome.
True.
Yeah. And both of those things were cool in here. So yeah, I'm ready. Let's do the other one. The other Thunder Round. The
other one being Alice Ever After #1.
Yeah.
From Boom Studios by Dan Ponosian, with art by Giorgio Spalletta. Alice first visited Wonderland as a child. Now an adult, it's her only escape from a cold, strange reality she finds herself living in. But in order to return to her fantasy world, she'll need something stronger than mushrooms that change her size, and is forced to resort to crime to feed her growing children. Oh, goodness. All right. Can't wait to hear more about this.
Well, you're not going to hear anything about that, because that's not what happened.
That's not what happened? 60 seconds on the clock. Go.
So actually, some of that is what happened. Just the very end of it. She does seek to return to Wonderworld or Wonderland, and her life is not so great. She's an adult, that kind of thing. I would have liked more Wonderland. she spends a lot of time in the regular world. And I know that Alice's journeys are dreams, right? And this version, it's with opium, I think, that she's taken to get there. But I think it's best when there's a little reality to it, you know? Once you go in there, it's real in the original stories. Here, that's not the case, so it would be nice if there was some actual reality, like maybe, and there's some like talking cats, so maybe there is some, and we'll get into that in the future, that they come into it. But overall, like I said, more Wonderland stuff. Maybe this is just setting up to that, but it was a lot of Victorian England, and well done, but not super interesting. The round is in.
End of round.
Yeah.
I forgot I was on mute, so they didn't have to listen to my chewing of these delicious, big chewy nerd jelly bean candies.
Cool.
End of round.
Good.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, I didn't mean that sounds good. The nerds sound good. Yeah. The idea of having
the name implies deliciousness.
I did mean the chewing sounded like they were good, but I didn't want too much more of it. It looks good. Oh, now you have 3.
4.
That's a lot.
Ooh, that's tart.
There's a lot of nerds. Oh, yeah. Nerds were always kind of tart, right?
Yeah.
I used to like those. They had the 2 different things in one box. That was a good time. Yeah, you slide them open, you mix them up.
Do you remember
the same?
Do you remember Nerd cereal?
Oh, kind of vaguely. I thought you were going to say Nerds Rope, which was later, but I do remember. Nerd cereal.
Yeah, there was a Nerd cereal,
kind of familiar.
and it was just a big giant. It was like the exact same design, but on each side there were 2 different flavors of cereal.
Different kind of cereal.
Yes,
that's cool. Yeah,
that was
really
good.
Cool. Yeah. Do you remember Now and Laters?
You could. Oh, I used to love Now and Laters. They would until the end. I would always get to the very, very like the stuff that would get stuck in your teeth, and I would spit them out.
That was a drag. Yeah.
The other thing about the Nerd cereal, I remember you could, I don't know, you get the box tops and you send away for whatever.
Sure. Did you ever do that?
Not really. I did that for a G.I. Joe action.
Did you get it?
With the jet pack. Yeah.
Cool. That's a good one.
But yeah, you could send away for a bowl that was also half
and half.
So you could pour in each side into the
bowl.
So
they never mix.
Never mix. Not.
But you can have them both at the same time. Right.
Yeah.
Then they mix, and possibly in your mouth if you do 2 spoons. They could mix. But you could just do subsequent bowls, but that's pretty cool. Yeah. That was cool. I like that.
Good marketing.
Like that. Yeah. It's just fun.
All right.
Having the 2 different things.
Right.
JD, I feel like we didn't mention that people could give money to the show by patreon.com/Johnny Destructo.
Yeah. Noel has said the reason Noel's not on the show today is because he wants more people. If you want it, you got to pay for it.
Yeah, that's what he said.
You got to go to patreon.com.
I think this is what he was talking about. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. He left it real open.
Yeah,
like, you got to pay for it.
Yeah. But we're figuring it out.
Never do it for free.
Yeah.
So go to patreon.com/Johnny Destructo and subscribe, and that way maybe Noel will come back to us.
Maybe. I don't know.
Who knows?
Very withholding.
Yeah.
And can you get stickers in any way through that patreon.com/Johnny Destructo? Is there some way
last
of getting
month
stickers?
I sent, well, I didn't say all, I was going to say all my patrons. I did not send all of my patron stickers because I messaged all of my patron stickers and I said, hey, give me your address.
Yeah.
And I will mail you a free sticker that I designed.
You don't just know their addresses.
No, I don't.
No. It's not part of it.
Even if I did, I shouldn't reveal that.
I don't think it would be revealing to write it on an envelope. And send,
well, if they didn't give it to me.
Here.
if they didn't give me their address and I just started sending them stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually get a lot of mail from people that I don't know or want. I would say near exclusively. I get things.
It's true.
Right.
Almost 100% of my mail
and didn't
is
ask
unwanted
for.
mail. Yeah, it's true.
Right.
Back in the day,
Yeah.
Sometimes stuff arrived and you were really excited about it.
That used to be how, say, you would get a lot of kind of communication or things. Yeah.
Could you imagine on the
Yeah.
amount of resources we could cut just by eliminating unnecessary mailers?
Yeah. What measures would need to be in place to determine which ones are unnecessary? Who is not allowed to send mail could become a thorny issue. But yes, if we could do it, that would be pretty cool.
That would be my supervillain thing. If I was like a Batman supervillain, my one, Poison Ivy wants to save plants.
Sure.
And this falls in line with that. I think she would
could work with her. Yeah.
Because that's a lot of trees getting murdered.
It's a lot.
Just to send out some coupons that is going to go directly into the garbage.
You don't want.
Or recycle.
And then also the problem of having the garbage is an issue too.
Yeah,
now,
true.
I feel like
everything
could work
we do is an issue.
Well, not everything. We do a lot of good stuff, I think, too. Thinking about the world, pondering, making things better. Things are a lot better, I think, than they were 5,000 years ago, right? Like, yeah. It's a slow thing. The other day, I was going to the grocery store, and I was like, man, I really don't feel like going to the grocery store. And I was like, for most of human history, I would be overjoyed at the possibility of going to a grocery store.
The fact
like
that there was
food
a
and
place
spices.
to get everything you want. Yeah.
Right. No tigers. Just food.
Not a single tiger.
Not one. I didn't see any. There's some pictures of tigers, but that's not an issue. Yeah.
Unless they're on your cereal box.
Yeah, they're there if that's the one you want, right? But you have not just one cereal. You have a lot of different kinds of cereal to choose from. But
there's at least 5 tigerless cereals you could buy on the shelves.
Yeah, Lucky Charms very rarely has a tiger on it, you know.
Yep.
So I forget why we were talking about things getting better, right? What led us directly to, but things have gotten better.
Mail.
Right. I feel like you could do that as kind of a superhero thing too, right? If you go about it in the right way, you find the right solution. Maybe it's a diplomatic solution. And we figure out how to not have this happen, right? You don't have to go down the path of the supervillain.
But what if I just want to?
Well, that's your thing. I mean, you could do that. But, there's a lot of potentially negative repercussions. How often does that work out for those guys, But they keep at it. I'm going
to wind up in the interrogation room at Arkham Asylum.
Yeah. What do you do with all the mail?
Swear to me!
I miss my mailers. Batman personally enjoys the correspondence from like Best Buy. And,
listen, he does not have a lot of friends.
Yeah, it's true. It's like Ray Morgan Flanagan wrote something.
Ray Morgan Flanagan, located on Bill Finger Avenue.
Yeah, Bill Finger. I like they got the whole thing in that time.
Yeah. Grant Morrison Ave. Yeah. All right.
Grant Morrison, who wrote these issues of Detective Comics Boulevard.
Oh, shoot. All right, let's get out of here. I'm going to go do my orders. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Sorry for everyone who missed us on Facebook.
Oh, I know.
We messed that up.
Yeah.
We went like a minute too late, and Facebook was like, nah, dog.
Yeah.
Canceled.
Maybe we can post.
We got canceled.
Done. Can we post this feed to Facebook somehow, like after the fact?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we'll find out.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you. I'm gonna go eat some more Big Chewy Nerds candy jelly beans.
That sounds cool. Yeah, it's good. What was that, a yellow one?
The other good jelly beans.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, there's more than one other. So. What color was that?
Sweet Tarts.
Oh, Sweet Tarts. Do they make actual jelly beans or just like chewy Sweet Tarts? Oh, okay. Yeah.
There's
all right. What about Starburst jelly beans?
Oh, that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jelly Bellies. Those are delicious.
Jelly beans are good. I mean, those. I don't know if I've ever had Jelly Bellies. No, I have.
You know what? Jelly beans have come a long way.
Sure.
Speaking of tigers in the supermarket.
Speaking of.
Even just 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Our jelly beans have come a long way since then. Because I used to get jelly beans when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And they were bullshit. I hated them.
Now, I still liked them, but you're right. Like they're a lot less kind of chalky than they were.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Mhm.
smaller, which
Mhm.
isn't in itself like, oh, they're so much better now that they're smaller. But they are
Yeah.
better, and they are smaller, and there's like more packed into it. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're more flavorful. Yeah.
This episode brought to you by jelly beans.
All jelly beans.
A type of candy.
Just we advanced the idea of the jelly bean, and if jelly beans would like to send us some free jelly beans,
Yeah,
that would be.
I'll eat them.
Yeah, I'd eat them too. That would be awesome.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, and we will talk at you later.